Welcome to After LUTV News, where we will discuss interesting topics on campus, in the community, and in the world of culture with our panel of LUTV News reporters. I am Jonathan Tippett. On our last episode, we spoke with our first group of LUTV News graduating seniors about how their final semester of college was altered by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I would like to welcome our second group of graduates to learn how they've been managing these past few weeks and what they've gained from their time at LUTV News. Guys, it has been a while since any of us have spoke. How are we feeling?
It's been a long time, but I've been feeling great. Just dealing with this COVID-19 thing. I mean, taking everything in stride, but I'm very happy to see you all. I miss you all. I miss being in the studio.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going crazy not being in the studio. Like it's funny now because I realized that when I watch the news and stuff and I see something that's like off, I'm like, oh, that wouldn't happen with LUTV. We wouldn't do that. I definitely miss you guys.
Yeah, I'm doing okay too. I miss you guys a whole lot. I miss being in the studio, but I would definitely say I'm the kind of person that looks for a positive side to everything, and it's been really good to be able to spend some time with my family, and we've been very fortunate to all have stayed healthy during all of this so far.
Of course, that's the name of the game right now, is trying to stay healthy, doing your best. So you do miss the studio, but you're also graduating. How do those two emotions conflict right now?
It's definitely bittersweet. I mean, my time in the studio was amazing, learning so many different things, all these personalities, making new friends. I've conquered things that I thought I'd never do, but I'm kind of excited to get out of my shell and venture into the real world, get a job, and just show all the skills, put it all together to show what I did at my time at LUTV. I'm ready to be a professional. So yeah, it's bittersweet. I'm happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of sucked that I don't get to finish off the year actually seeing everybody to face and everything, because I had a great time inside the studio and learning new things and everything. But it's also very exciting, like Derek said, to just get out and just show the world what I learned and everything, being a part of LUTV. So this should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. It's sort of bittersweet. It's a little bit more bitter right now, especially since we didn't get to really finish things out, and I'm kind of having a hard time accepting that because we didn't really get a goodbye that you would traditionally get with LUTV. Our final is always at Buffalo Wild Wings final, stuff like that. It's kind of hard to accept not having those things, but at the same time, it is good to this is a big accomplishment, and we all get to go out and be world changers now, and so I'm excited for that step in my life.
Well, that is the thing. The news never stops, and even while this is all going on, there's still opportunity for it. But are you worried about entering into right now you're graduating and you've seen nothing on TV other than the pandemic? If it's not the pandemic, it's about how terrible the economy is. Is that concerning? How do you deal with that going out into the job market right now?
I think it's pretty tough dealing with the job market because, as we've seen, there are hiring freezes. Just with all that's going on, it's not too much stability. People are worrying about losing their jobs. But I kind of feel like this is going to prepare us for anything. Like you said, the news never stops. And within this moment, it's almost like it was another learning experience. We know that as news reporters and anchors or whatever it may be, photographers, that we have to constantly find a way to get content for other people to view. People rely on us. So within this moment, I felt like without even the necessary tools of having a studio, we still had another learning experience. We made stories, we made content for people to view, and I felt like it prepared us even more.
I feel like literally had to. It's like something y'all prepared us for. To just if something is happening, we just have to pull out our phones and just start recording it. That's exactly what's going on right now. We don't have cameras with us right now, so it's just pull out my phone and just start recording what's going on and everything. And like you said, it's something going on every day, every minute. There's something new going on. So it's just one of the things yeah, but so we just got to capture it.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna pretend to say like that I'm not worried about the job market. This is definitely not an ideal situation by any means. But if anything, this sounds pretty corny, but like I genuinely mean it. UTV, especially during this time, has like taught us like how much like you can, if there's a will, there's a way, and like if you put an investment in something, you can get stuff done still. So, I mean, as corny as that sounds, that's one of my main takeaways, especially with LUTV specifically, and then my other classes as well.
Going right along with that, what you all touched on, there's things that we've been trying to do, especially Gordon in the studio has been trying to push through, make sure that there's still ways and opportunities for you guys to do it. And then you guys have been out there recording stuff and making news happen even in these situations. But in all of this, is there something that you've lost as far as the college experience in your last semester? And is there something that you've gained by going through this and still pushing through and learning in this time?
Oh, things that I lost. I just felt like I lost the moment to put it all together with my friends. We went through a couple of shows at the beginning of the semester, and I sensed that we were getting better and just maybe we were close to, I wouldn't say perfecting, but just achieving a height that we didn't touch before. And although we still kind of put it together a little bit through not being in the studio, I just kind of wonder how would those possible last few shows would have went being in the studio with this great collective group of people. I mean, Sarah, Diamond, everyone from the production to you and Gordon, everything, you really just miss it. But one thing I could say I did gain was a little bit of resiliency and ability to push through whatever comes my way, I'd say.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely something that I kind of miss, is just kind of still like, I wish we could like still experience what would have happened inside of the studio, like how everybody would have grown and everything, because we've been together for what's this, like 2 semesters now and everything. So I wish that we could have seen, because we already seen each other like grow, and we was watching each other like still continue to grow and everything. So it's kind of bittersweet and everything. But I'm sorry, you guys. Let's not just throw me off. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
But Sarah, start talking.
No, you're good. I got you. I think that one thing that has really, been kind of stuck in my mind that is kind of a bummer is just the fact that being a senior, we were already on the edge of turning into a new chapter and starting a new normal, and people have kept repeatedly, like you've seen it on social media, we've seen it, in Texas opening back up pretty soon, is like returning to normal. And like, that's something that like in our position and where we're at, like we don't necessarily get. So I will say that that's a bummer, but just like Derek said, like there is a sense of resiliency that comes with that and overcoming adversity. And it's definitely, I feel like we grew a lot in the studio over this past like couple semesters, and like we've made some real progress, but I think that this was like our first test as multimedia journalists and into the stuff that we're going into as we, become adults. And I feel like this is really just like an extra push that we got, in almost an advantage, but in a weird way.
Yeah, so let's shift it around. That's all very self-critical, self-reflective, and that's great. Those are good qualities to have, especially in a time like this. But from the other perspective, did the university, the country as a whole, did they do everything that they could? What could they have done better? Do you feel like this situation, particularly on like a local level affecting you, was this handled properly?
When it comes to the beginning of the coronavirus, when I've saw tweets and stuff, and we're not sure how accurate it is, but people were apparently displaying symptoms of feeling sick and not knowing what the sickness was around possibly December, I've heard some people say. And it's just that when, I guess you can say, President Trump or whoever it may be caught word of this thing, we were told that they didn't take it with the seriousness as they're taking it now. And maybe just the outbreak, somehow they could have got ahead of this thing and I'm not sure if this sounds selfish or not, but just possibly I could be walking in May, like within a couple of weeks of graduating. We wouldn't have to go through this whole thing of doing work online and some people not being able to complete work. It's just very tough. I just felt like it could have been handled better. Maybe the outbreak wouldn't have happened as bad as it did, and we could have saved tons of lives and time for people.
I 100% agree with Derek because I know a lot of people around the time of December and January, they were sick, and they were sick with all of these same symptoms and everything for about 2 weeks, and they tested negative for strep, tested negative for the flu, they tested negative for all of these things. And I feel like this has been a problem and been out, and I feel like it was downplayed for us not to worry about it, and like, oh, there's nothing for us to worry about, it's under control, we got this and everything. And then now it's like a huge pandemic and nobody knows what's going on. And I feel like even now it's still, even though with everything's going on, I feel like our president is just still not taking it as serious as it really is. And some things that are opening should not be opening. Like they were saying that my son's school, they may be able to start back school before the summer begins.
Yeah, and are you comfortable with that?
No, he's not going to school because it's not realistic that this is under control and that everything is taken care of, because it's just not. It's just not, because it's not being handled. People are not, you still see people without face masks. You still see people, our mayor, going out there and just still doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing.
That made some national headlines.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, it's not being taken serious, and this is serious. So I definitely don't think that nobody is handling it the way it should have been. Like Derek said, this could have been prevented. We could have been still going on with school and still walking across.
But when it comes to like the idea of, you know, the fact that some people are saying that this could have been around for a while, I actually watched an interview of, I couldn't even remember, it's been a couple of weeks, of on a news station where they interviewed a doctor and asked her if this was like possible by any means, like could people from the United States have contracted the coronavirus as early as December or January, and she said, yeah, like it's completely possible. You know, so many people fly out of that area, or China in general, not blaming it on China by any means, you know, stuff happens. But when it comes to the fact that, like, I try to just keep telling myself that this is all such uncharted territory, and that nobody really knows exactly what we're dealing with, kind of. Like, this is the first situation like this by any means. And I do, like, want to say, like, that my professors and instructors for Lamar have done a really great job at, like, transitioning to like online curriculum where they didn't have to do that before. So like everybody's done a really good job of communicating. Are there things that I personally would have handled differently? Yes. Were there things that I would have handled differently at Lamar as far as like the 4.0 or fail scale? Like I probably would have went with that if they would have asked me personally. So there are some things that like I would have done differently, especially on a local level. But at the same time, like this is something that we've never experienced before. And so as we're learning how to deal with it, people in charge are also learning how to lead in a situation like this too. So I'm trying to just give people a little bit more slack, honestly.
So we've only got a few seconds left, but real quick, is there anything else that anyone wanted to add?
I just miss you guys.
Oh, I miss you too, of course. But I really want to thank you and Gordon for teaching us so much. Honestly, if we can do this all over again, I would. I learned a lot of valuable things, and I pray that you guys just keep giving everyone the same inspiration and knowledge that you gave us to push through everything.
Yeah. Real quick, just because, you know, there's adding on to that, kind of like I say this all the time, is like there's just such a level of personal investment that you guys have in all of us, and it's just something that like I will never be able to say thank you enough for. You guys have helped me grow tremendously, not only as like in the field that we're going into, but also as a person. And I also really appreciate that and wish nothing but the best for you guys.
Yeah, just piggybacking off everybody. Thank you so much to both of y'all. I feel like y'all definitely stayed on us to make sure that we were producing content, and good content at that. and, you know, just calling us out on if you knew we could do better. And I appreciate that for y'all both just telling us the truth and telling us, no, you know you could do better, or, you know, make sure the next story is better than this story. Like, I appreciate it for just being there for us and everything.
Don't envy Diamond being in that third position to speak there, because then you're like, well, now I'm obligated to say everything that they said and more. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for watching After LUTV News. To see more content from LUTV News, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. See you next time.